I need to confess something. I wasn't totally honest in the last video where I finally got the vibrations under control for this FPV camera. I didn't lie, but I left out some not so wise stuff I did in the name of fixing the vibration issues. Honestly, I was just too embarrassed to share it. But now I've worked up the guts to own up to the not so smart choices I made. The plan was simple. Bigger gear equals less torque equals no more wheelies equals fewer vibrations. Easy. But lack of patience really got the best of me while waiting for this gear to arrive from China. It was to take 9 days, and apparently 9 days is too long for some people. So instead of waiting, I decided to solve the wheelie problem myself by adding weight. Just to clarify, adding weight to an RC car is pretty common and usually works, but I always tend to go overboard. Most people keep it under 50 grams when they add weight, but honestly, 50 grams wouldn't have stopped my RC from wheeling, so I ended up quadrupling that amount. Don't judge me too harshly. All I wanted was for the front wheels to stay grounded. I started with 400 grams and I really wish I had stuck with physics instead of switching to biology back in high school. Here I am, throwing in 400 grams without even thinking about the weight of my 2 LiPo batteries that power the RC car and the FPV camera. One thing I totally overlooked is that when the RC car is zooming along and I hit the brakes, the shocks aren't going to react the same way as in this test. Does this even qualify to be called a test? When you slam on the brakes at high speed, the weight shifts dramatically forward. This weight transfer is a big deal because it increases the load on the front tires while lightening the rear. The deceleration pushes the weight toward the front, making the nose dive and the back rise, which means the front shocks get fully compressed, thus being of no use. That's why I thought 400 grams was probably way too much and I should just start with 200 grams. If that doesn't do the trick to keep the wheels on the ground, I can always add the other 200 grams later. I ended up drilling 2 holes in the weight, one on top and another at the bottom, but at different angles. Then, I used this thick copper wire to tie the 200 grams to the front shock tower. I made sure everything was tightened because I knew if it was loose and wiggling around, it would mess with how the car moved. Honestly, I felt pretty proud of how well I secured it, especially since it wouldn't interfere with any of the moving parts. At this point, I started to second guess my choice of adding so much weight. I'm powering this FPV camera with a 4S lithium-ion battery pack that I built myself. Check out the link in the description if you want to make one. Now that I've got both batteries and the extra weight on, I'm noticing the front shocks are already showing signs of struggle. The car isn't even moving yet and there's this much compression on the shocks. But of course, being myself, I can't just backtrack now after all the effort I put in. It was finally time to put my genius idea to the test. With the pavement stones being so uneven, I was already feeling pumped up. However, my excitement took a hit when I slammed on the throttle, causing the RC car to do a wheelie. In a moment of panic, I braked hard and out of nowhere, the car performed a front flip. Just like that, my dreams were crushed. Had I just destroyed my FPV camera after already blaming my wife for breaking the previous one? How much did this new Cadex FPV camera cost? Oh no, I can't afford another one. Am I really in the right hobby? I hate this hobby. How can I shift the blame to my wife this time? Why didn't I just wait for the bigger gear? It felt like an eternity before I could assess the extent of the damage. Luckily, it was just these 3 wires that got disconnected because my soldering skills aren't the best. Honestly, I'm kind of grateful I'm not that great at it, or things might have turned out worse. Just a few scratches on the case and the FPV camera is in mint condition. No scratches on the lens at all. For those who missed the last video, this is what the camera setup looks like now. If you're wondering why there's Play-Doh in here, check out the link in the description below. A while back, I had another incident with some bullies, but the camera came out totally unscathed. I might not be the brightest person in the room, but putting the camera in this waterproof case was a solid move. Gotta take pride in something, right? This is the last video with low quality FPV footage, so subscribe to find out why. And hopefully, watch me make better decisions next time. Hopefully.